Hello, sir. Good to see you again. Cole. Pleasure, man. You're looking amazing. Fantastic. All right, we'll have you right on the mark right there.
There is a moment in almost every Dwayne Johnson press event where the entire room shifts. Not because he said something profound, not because he did something extraordinary, just because he walked in. Most people spend their entire lives trying to command a room. Dwayne Johnson doesn't try. He just exists, and the room reorganizes itself around him. Today we're going to break down exactly why that happens. And the answer is not what you think. There is a concept in evolutionary psychology called physical dominance signaling, the way the human brain automatically and involuntarily responds to physical size, symmetry, and presence. It's ancient. It predates language. It predates civilization. It is the part of your brain that was built to immediately assess whether the person walking toward you is a threat or an ally. Dwayne Johnson triggers every single one of those signals simultaneously. But here's what's interesting. Physical dominance alone doesn't explain what he does. There are plenty of large, physically imposing people in Hollywood. None of them have what Dwayne Johnson has. Because the physical is only half of it. Watch any Dwayne Johnson red carpet appearance and pay attention not to him. Pay attention to everyone else. The way security guards stand up straighter. The way interviewers laugh before he even finishes a sentence. The way other celebrities, some of them massive stars in their own right, visibly defer to him without being asked to. This is called involuntary status recognition, and it operates completely below the level of conscious thought. You don't decide to defer to Dwayne Johnson. Your brain does it for you before you've processed a single word he's said.
Yes, only on the Ellen Show. Hi.
Here. Hi. Someone has to. Who's that? What? Okay.
Oh, don't be shy.
No. They like you.
Thank you for having me on. I
Thank you
appreciate
for being on. This is our third week. You're actually my biggest guest. My biggest in many ways. You're
cool.
you're
Thank
very.
you.
You're 6'5". Is that what you are?
6'4", yeah.
Yeah.
6'5" with boots, yeah.
That's what I meant. The
Yeah.
boots. Because I'm usually good at that right away. 6'5", 6'4". So and were you born? You're a big guy.
Yeah, I was.
Not were you born this size? I know that, but
I was, yeah.
yeah,
Right out of the womb.
yeah. Ow.
Yeah, I'd always been a big kid. When I was 8, I was probably about 140 pounds or so. I was a big guy. And then by the time I was 15, I was like 6'4", 210. Woo, yeah, big boy. 210, 220, and the problem was we traveled a lot with my family, so I went to about 3 or 4 different high schools when I was in high school. And when I was 15, I hit this one high school, and it was down in the South, down in Nashville, and everybody thought I was an undercover cop.
But here's the thing that nobody talks about. Dwayne Johnson is one of the warmest, most emotionally accessible public figures alive. And that combination, primal physical dominance, plus radical emotional warmth, is something the human brain has almost no framework for processing. We are wired to expect dominance to come with coldness. The biggest person in the room is supposed to be the most intimidating. The most powerful person is supposed to be the least accessible. Dwayne Johnson breaks that pattern completely. And when the brain encounters something it cannot categorize, it does one thing automatically. It pays attention.
And her name is Miss Katie Kelsenberg. Now, Katie, I'm sure that you are so embarrassed right now, but I just had to let you know that I appreciate how cool and awesome you are for inviting me to your prom. And I also wanted to tell you that, unfortunately, I can't make the prom because I will be shooting a movie in Hawaii called Jungle Cruise at that time. However, Katie, because we are now best friends, and I have so much love for you because you're so awesome, as a very special gift, I have rented out a theater tomorrow. And the theater is Oakdale Cinemas, which I believe is very close to you. So the gift is this. I want you to grab all your favorite friends and your closest family members and whoever you want to bring, Katie, because tomorrow at 4:45, I'm showing you a screening of my new movie, Rampage, and all the popcorn and candy and soda you could drink, it's all on me. Everything is free, and I want you to go have the greatest time. I rented out 232 seats. So to all the students there at Stillwater High School area, If Katie is down with it, then you guys talk to your teachers and your school has all the details. So Katie, have the best time. Thank you for being awesome. Enjoy Rampage. And I think after this, because me and Katie are best friends now, I think this would officially make me a Stillwater Area High School pony.
There is a psychological concept called benevolent dominance, where an individual projects high status and high warmth simultaneously. The research shows that people who achieve this combination are rated as significantly more trustworthy, more likable, and more influential than people who project either quality alone. Most people can do one or the other. High warmth, low dominance. High dominance, low warmth. Dwayne Johnson does both at full volume, at the same time, in every room he enters. And the effect on the people around him is almost neurological. Watch him in any group interview. He makes eye contact with everyone equally. He laughs genuinely, not performatively. He remembers names. He touches people on the arm. He finds the person in the room who seems most nervous and makes them feel seen first. These are not PR tactics. These are not things his team taught him. These are the behaviors of someone who grew up with nothing and never forgot what it felt like to be the person nobody noticed.
And it's 110 degrees. I'm freezing. I'm wearing a blanket. Steven Summers comes over, the director. Hey, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. Let's do it. He calls action. We have our scene. And I had never acted before, but he calls action. And when he says cut, you know, we hear the, oh, you got bit by the acting bug? The thing that happens. When he yelled cut, I went, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, in that moment.
Did you find that the things you had learned in the ring were transferable to acting?
I think performatively, yes. In wrestling, it's very big and over the top as you're performing for everybody for a stadium.
Here's what almost nobody talks about when they talk about Dwayne Johnson. This man was evicted from his apartment with his family at 14 years old. He had $7 in his pocket when he moved to pursue wrestling. He was cut from the Canadian Football League. He was broke, unknown, and by most external measures, finished before he was 25. There is a psychological framework called earned dominance, the idea that people who achieve high status after experiencing genuine powerlessness carry a fundamentally different relationship with that status than people who were born into it. They don't take the room for granted. They remember what it felt like to walk into a room and be invisible. And that memory, that specific, visceral memory of invisibility, is what makes Dwayne Johnson make every single person in every single room feel like they matter. Not because his PR team told him to, because he knows exactly what it feels like when nobody does it for you.
I just remind myself, all right, I was evicted when I was 14. We were kicked off the island. We couldn't live in Hawaii. Had no place to live. A lot of shit happened then when I moved to Nashville. I was arrested multiple times by the time I was 16 years old. I would remember that, and it allows me then to be present in the moment and understand, holy, the stuff I have around me right now, this is the shit that I dreamed of when I was a kid. I am here. I played for University of Miami, played for great teams. Warren Sapp, Ray Lewis, they were my teammates. They were balling. Warren Sapp was playing tight end that time. I was starting defensive tackle. Yeah, they moved him over to D-line. And he looked at me, he's like, yo, dude, I'm gonna take your spot. And I said, you ain't taking my spot. He said, I'm gonna take your spot. I said, no, you ain't. We battled, and he took my spot. Now you can imagine how that with me, because there goes my opportunity. He went in, switched to defensive tackle, lit the world on fire. Well, what that did, it crushed me, it crushed my dreams. I had a piss poor senior year, zero production, no NFL, no combine invite, nothing. Finally went to the CFL, Calgary Stampeders, making $250 a week Canadian. Now, I had to send that home to my wife at that time. Had no money. So I remember that. When I got cut from Canada, my dad in his pickup truck.
Go back and watch any Dwayne Johnson fan interaction with that in mind. The man who stops for every photo. The man who learns the name of every crew member on set. The man who posts at 4 in the morning from his gym not to flex, but to show the 17-year-old kid who feels like he's already behind that the work is always available if you're willing to show up for it. That's not a brand. That's someone who looked at the version of himself that had nothing and decided that person deserved to win. And somehow, without ever saying it out loud, he makes everyone around him feel like they do too. That is why nobody can resist Dwayne Johnson. Not because he's the biggest person in the room, because he's the biggest person in the room who makes you feel like you're the one who matters. Next video, we're going inside someone whose power works completely differently from Keanu, from Walken, and from Johnson. Someone whose dominance is invisible. Someone you don't even realize has controlled the entire conversation until it's already over. You already know who it is.
My hopes, my dreams, my responsibilities as a provider, a father, a husband, a businessman, and some say even a leader. Whatever I'm dealing with out there, that's what I'm working through in here. And in the gym, as in life, raising the bar isn't always about putting on a big show. It's the small, quiet promises you make to yourself. The ones you could break and no one would know. But you don't. You show up every day and meet this gym on its terms, with humility, gratitude, and respect. Through struggle, through pain, through sweat, through the little voice deep in your gut that says you could quit at any second, but you don't. You raise and raise and raise again. I'll see you right back here tomorrow.